Hello and welcome back to A World Without with me, Kris.
And me, Jack. This is the podcast where we get into the hypothetical and discuss what we think would happen if something from our everyday lives suddenly stopped existing tomorrow.
Yep, and today we're looking at the weird and wonderful side effects of a world without chairs. So, obviously we'd all miss her. You know, great songs, If I Could Turn Back Time. Do you believe in life after love?
What? Did you research Cher?
Was that not what this episode was about?
It was chairs, mate.
Right. A lot of my points don't make sense anymore then. Do you believe in life after love?
So, chairs. Bloody everywhere, aren't they?
They are everywhere.
It would have quite the impact, I reckon.
It would.
This podcast, for one.
Well, yeah, we're
sitting down.
Sat down right now. Should we do this podcast standing up?
No, people won't know. We could say we are. Yeah, all right.
We are now stood up, everybody.
Yeah.
I guess, we shouldn't really set that as like a precedent for what we do. Like,
whatever it is we have to do.
Yeah,
let's not start that.
A world without oxygen would be quite a interesting episode. Well, it'd be interesting for the first 30 seconds, and then it'd probably get quite quiet.
Yeah. So I did try to Google the amount of chairs there are in the world. Turns out no one's been counting.
Really?
Yeah, which is disappointing.
It is.
Plenty of people have been asking the question. There's a couple of forums where people have said, how many chairs are there, mate? One guy just had a guess, said 60 billion. No idea how he got there. Didn't write out his workings. He's just like, I reckon 60 billion, mate.
60 billion, yeah.
So it is actually the closest guess that we've got. I think we should go with 60 billion.
It's as close
there are
as
60 billion chairs in the world.
It's as close as anybody guessing.
Yeah, well, he is the only guess I saw.
I'm going to say 40 billion.
Okay. Somewhere between 40 and 60 billion chairs. So that's a lot of chairs.
Yeah, that is definitely a lot of chairs. So, at the risk of sounding stupid, what is a chair?
Well, yeah, this is interesting because the Google definition was something like it's a single seat with a back and four legs, notoriously.
Yeah, it's a separate seat for one person, and a seat being something that is made or used for sitting on.
This is the problem. So I disagree that it's for one person because a sofa, which multiple people can sit on, that's the type of chair. I think a bench is a type of chair. Multiple people can sit on that. This chair I'm currently sitting on doesn't have four legs. So I think it's a bit broader than that.
It is, certainly. And if it's for anything that's used for sitting on, we're getting rid of everything.
Well, yeah, if I sit on a rock, does
Boom.
that
it's gone.
disappear?
It's become a chair.
If I sit on the floor, does the floor disappear? Do you know, I think we don't normally in these podcasts want to get hung up on semantics, but this one I do think we need to define a bit.
Yeah, because like babysitters, run away from them.
Okay, I think you might be taking that one a bit too literally. Yeah, so I think we're thinking something that's made to be a chair.
Something that was specifically designed to be sat on.
I almost think that we can't sit down.
Right, a world without sitting down.
Like, rocks and floors can still exist, but we can't sit on the floor.
Yeah.
You know? But then, are we allowed to lie down? Because obviously we have to go to sleep.
Yes.
And so I like, if we can't sit down, but we can lie down, having to make that transition every time. Sort of fall over awkwardly every time.
Yeah, you're not allowed to
sit on the side of the bed
lay back.
And then get that. You have to just fall into bed.
Just like a plank, a solid plank straight
that
down.
would be interesting to see everyone suddenly have to do that.
That would, yeah. I mean, you could maybe go down on like your knees, like on your hands and knees, and then kind of do a sort of forward, like you go on your belly and then just roll over.
Yeah.
That's probably a safer way than falling back.
Probably. So I was looking into how much time we do spend sitting down. It varies. Different people said different stuff. One said we could spend up to 18 years of our life sitting down.
Wow.
So we have a lot more free time to do other stuff now.
Yeah. I've been sitting down for 18 years solidly, so...
Well, there we go. But that equates to roughly 50 hours a week. But another thing said that the average American only spends 3 hours a day active or standing up.
Active or standing up.
Yeah, so it's 8 hours of sleeping, 7.5 hours of work, 1.5 hours of TV, 1.5 hours of computer, 1 hour eating, and then 1.5 hours of leisure time, which they equated to also sitting down.
Yeah, because leisure time, you're going to be sitting, aren't you?
Well, I was thinking about this. Because this personally, I think affects me quite a lot, this whole world without chairs.
The chairs,
I spend a horrific amount of my time sitting down. Like, I work from home, so I get out of my bed, which I've been lying down in, roll into an office chair, which I sit at for about 8 hours, and then normally in the evening, I sit down.
You need to get, you know.
I need a break from all my sitting down all day, and so I spend most of it sit down. And even the things I go out and do, you go to the pub, what are you doing? Sitting down. You go to the cinema, what are you doing?
Well,
sitting down.
In a pub, you only sit down if it's not too busy.
Well, yeah.
Of course, sometimes you're forced to stand up, but you're angry about it.
Yeah, you don't like it. Should we
it.
find somewhere else?
Yeah,
it's a bit busy here.
I need my chair.
Even then, I'm normally like lent on something. I can't take my own weight for very long, apparently. Genuinely, the only thing I could come up with, other than like occasional sporting activities, which honestly I don't take part in often, is like music gigs. That's the only time I could think I stand up for really like long periods of time. So yeah, it's actually kind of horrifying.
It is.
It's almost like a weird realization of how much time I spend sitting down.
I know, it kind of makes you feel a little bit bad, but equally, is it going to change?
Probably not.
Nope.
But it should, because there's lots of research into how bad sitting down is for you, basically.
Really? Like were we not made to sit down as a species?
I mean, it's better for your health. It can link sitting down for long periods of time is obesity and heart disease and all this sort of stuff. Oh, so we'll probably get a bit healthier as a world if we're always having to stand up.
I guess so. Being forced to make the change is forcing everyone to be a bit healthier. Yeah. Right now, you listening, stand up. Come on.
You better be standing up while listening to this podcast. That's our rule. Apparently 0.7 calories per minute you burn standing up compared to sitting down. 0.7 calories a minute. It's not a lot. It's 30,000 calories a year, though.
Just by standing?
Just by standing
up.
And
what, you're burning 0 by sitting? So you're
0.7
extra.
0.7 calories extra by standing up, apparently, which is 30,000 calories a year.
So, I'm just going to say it. Butts, right? I just wanted to say that. That's all. That was my point. No, butts, they're made for sitting. The reason we have a squishy bum is because we sit? Or
are you telling me that as a fact?
No, it's very much a question.
Right. Well, I think we had butts before we had chairs, mate.
Really?
I do.
I mean, again, chairs being rocks and the floor and things like that.
So the oldest chair goes apparently back to 3,100 BC in Egyptian times.
Wow, okay.
When they first made the chair. So we've had them for a while.
Were their chairs pyramids? Just like really painful chairs.
Like, we must sort this out. This is not the best way we can be doing this, I'm sure. But no, I don't think they were.
Right.
I think they were, your usual chair situation with the 4 legs.
Gotcha.
So before that, I guess rocks and floors were what they were sitting on.
Because
maybe I haven't thought. Maybe butts are made for sitting.
Like, or as in they've increased in size.
These butts are made for sitting, and that's just what
we don't want to get a copyright strike.
Yeah, sorry.
Like have our butts increased in size because of all the sitting we do? Like, have we evolved to have a more?
I don't think so.
A pillow-based bottom.
So you're saying 100 years, or probably evolution takes a bit longer.
A little bit longer than 100 normally.
Okay, a million years. Post no sitting down, we suddenly don't have butts anymore. Is this what you're trying to get at?
Just less of a butt. Like, it's much less butty, Okay.
Because I think that's logical.
Not many animals have like a proper butt, like butt cheeks. Do they? Baboons kind of do.
A lot of primates.
But then they're our nearest ancestors.
They do like sitting down. I've seen a monkey sit down.
Apparently, don't we share more DNA with a banana? I've also heard.
I didn't know it was a banana. Particularly,
bananas haven't got butts.
They haven't
either. So
what do we learn from that?
I don't know what I'm even saying anymore.
So I think you were onto some kind of point. Animals that don't sit down don't have butts. Fish
haven't got butts. Can you imagine a fish butt?
Nope.
I am now.
I want to. Taking it back into the realms of reality a bit. So standing desks, they're a current thing.
I want one. I do want one.
Do you?
I think so. I want to try.
I think I would hate it.
I want to try one. I want one of these ones that can change. You can have a sit in one, or you can press a button.
Suddenly standing up.
Okay. Needs to make that
maybe
noise.
that. Because spend an hour of your day standing up that you wouldn't otherwise. I get it, but I think I'd hate it. Although apparently, in a survey, 70% of full-time American workers said they hate how much they have to sit down. Right. So I think people would like this change, at least temporarily.
Maybe though, more than standing desks, people would go to laying desks.
Well, I was thinking this, like desks built into the floor, like just sort of lying down and you just
on your stomach.
Yeah, I was thinking on your stomach,
right?
And then you're using the
interesting.
Because otherwise that'd be hard using the desk above you, wouldn't it?
They've got these like gaming chairs now, where you're kind of like sat in this like curvy chair, and it like tilts you back, so you're kind of laying on your back. I realised I just said gaming chair, so it'd be called a gaming bed.
Why does this exist?
I don't know. It's just sort of meant for being comfy, I think.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and like the screens and the
they
keyboard.
didn't realise beds existed.
Nah.
They were like, you know what we really need? somewhere you can just lie down. No one seems to have invented it yet. We've got all these chairs, and I was just thinking, I really want to lie down. You know what? I can imagine them doing the pitch. So we have invented the lie down chair. Do you mean a bed, mate? A what?
It's probably how it went. So, chairs and stools, their slightly less backier counterpart, they often have 3 legs, don't they, a stool? Or they can do.
Can do. I have seen
stool.
such.
You don't ever get a 3-legged chair, really. Doesn't really happen as often, does it? I mean, we're sat on swivel chairs right now, so they
that's
kind
like
of
a
got
rock and a 5. It's a
one
1/5
leg with like 7 feet around or whatever, or 5 feet. It's a bit hard to tell, but
I can't currently think of a chair with 3 legs. You are correct.
Yeah.
However, I believe it exists.
it probably does exist. But it was. Do you know the whole fact that a 3-legged chair, stool, whatever, doesn't get wobbly? No matter what kind of level floor it's on, it will always level itself out. Whereas a 4-legged chair or stool can have a wobble to it.
It's
true.
It feels like you're wrong, but
no, mathematically it's true. And yet,
so if I had 2 legs that were the same length and one which is half that length,
I mean, it would be on a slant, but it wouldn't be wobbly.
it
would never wobble.
But how does it? Hold on, this is breaking my mind.
This broke my
And then
mind.
how does a 4-1 wobble where a 3-1 doesn't? I'm gonna have to try this out.
This is why you get wobbly tables, right? You go into a restaurant. Oh, this table's wobbly. You shove something.
So
under
why don't we make
one
everything
of the legs.
3 legs?
Exactly, 3 legs is so much more stable. Tripods. This is why they're not quad pods.
That does make sense.
Tripods.
So you're saying quad pods would be all over the place?
Quad pods would be terrible to get. Like, you'd have to be on a completely level surface, or your legs would have to be different lengths.
That's very interesting.
Isn't it crazy? And in my mind, I can kind of understand.
Now you've
why.
used the tripod analogy, I actually can get it in my head. With chairs, I was just like, nah, you're an idiot.
It's like one leg, stable in the sense of it won't wobble, but it will
just
fall over.
That's kind of just a big wobble, really, isn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly. 2 legs, again, you got to
Really
balance
hard
back
to
and
balance.
forward, but ultimately it won't wobble. 3 legs, no wobble, and stays up on its own. That's the
What about
that's
5?
the perfect number. 5, no, you end up with a wobble. Any number more than 3 legs, and you end up with a potentially wobbly table or whatever.
That's interesting.
Or chair.
Why did we develop 4 then?
Who knows?
That's stupid.
It's stupid. I mean, horses have 4 legs. A lot of things have 4 legs in the. Not many things have 3 legs in the animal kingdom.
Maybe they should. Then nothing would be falling over.
All these horses falling over all the time. We just solved the world.
Just get rid of one of their legs, and I'm sure they'll be fine.
I think that might make more horses fall over now, actually. But yeah,
I like that you were saying that as if that's like an epidemic, like horses falling over everywhere.
these horses
Just
falling
it's just
over.
this is a real problem we need to solve. The whole falling over horses.
and also, do you say a 3-legged race? Right? You say legged. It's not
3-legged race.
a 3-legged race. You don't say, but we always
No,
sort of,
it's a 3-legged
really.
race.
Have you ever heard anyone say like legged?
Legged?
Yeah, is that just me? Have I just
3-legged race?
a 3-legged race?
I know it is a 3-legged race.
Isn't it weird?
Yeah.
Why
it's
do we
not,
pronounce
it's
it like that?
3-legged.
Hello, I'm a
No,
2-legged
but you
human.
say a 3-legged chair, not
Yeah.
a 3-legged chair.
Yeah,
It
what's
should
going
be
on with that?
legged.
It should be legged, but it's become legged.
Well, now we don't have to worry about this problem because chairs don't exist.
No, but legs do.
Oh, God.
The look of fear in your face then.
The DFS sale, that finally ends.
Really does it. It's finally ending.
For any international audiences, that is a very funny joke about a British sofa shop that has a constant sale on.
British chauffeur shop.
British sofa shop.
I guess one major thing that would be affected is driving. You have to sit
Just
down
generally transport.
to drive.
A
Yeah.
lot of transport. Planes, buses, cars.
Wow. Oh yeah, you've just broadened my horizons by a massive
Imagine having
amount.
to stand on like a 12-hour flight.
Ugh. Well, you
Oh.
wouldn't. You'd lay. They'd have to make it lay downable.
They do have a lot of them when I was travelling around in Asia. They have a lot of the sleeper buses.
Sleeper
You just,
sleeper
sleep down
buses
on
and
those.
trains and.
I feel like that's cheating though. That just feels like a chair to me.
It does. But actually, like driving, operating the vehicle, you can't sit
Do you think
down
you'd
to
have
do
to?
it.
Do you think you'd stand up?
Maybe.
Because I don't know. Like, have you ever tried playing the drums standing up? It's way harder suddenly. Just having to stand up and do the drums is way harder than sitting down and
No, I
doing
haven't.
them. So then I imagine it's similar with driving. Like trying to use the pedals
Yeah.
while standing up, way harder because it's hard to like put the amount of pressure you want on correctly.
Exactly, because you've got your whole body weight of pressure to be dealing with rather than just a leg's
Just
weight.
think of how the design of cars and buses and all of that would change. I mean, maybe planes wouldn't change so much because you can stand on a plane and you can stand on a bus. But cars, think of the design difference. It'd either be like...
You have to like lay down on your belly.
I think maybe like almost like lying forward, like Superman pose.
Yeah, Superman pose driving.
Because in my head, I went to standing up, and everyone just having really tall cars, and just like you've been almost strapped in but standing up and just driving a really tall car. Like, I've got a really great image of that.
Well, don't have 4 wheels, only have 3. Because
hold on,
stability.
That's not true though, because those little Robin Reliant 3-wheel cars, they were notorious for flipping over.
Well, hang on, mathematical wise here disagrees, but I agree.
It wouldn't be wobbly, but it rolls.
Yeah, that's true. It's all about the wobble.
Heavy.
I was only talking wobble technology.
So stick with 4 wheels.
Stick with 4, yeah.
So I guess like as well, like roller coasters and theme parks, they're kind of different now. A lot of rides at theme parks involve sitting down in some way.
They do.
So there is one in Alton Towers here in the UK which you lie down on.
Right. Okay.
You sort of lie forwards. It's called Air.
I'm not a big roller coaster guy, so I don't really know much about these.
You are aware of the concept though. It's a thing you sit on and you go right quite fast.
Roller coaster.
So it's basically just a lot of seats in a row that you go around on a track. Now we don't have them.
All standing up.
So you'd either have to do the whole standing up or sitting down. So there'd be a whole new design of roller coasters have to come around. Have to take down all the old ones.
They've just built a bunch.
I know. They've gone and ruined all their fun.
Like I've just finished it.
You know all the the I don't know what they're called. The teacup things, but like the more advanced ones.
Yeah, what are they called? The waltzers.
Yeah, those you can't do anymore. Imagine them standing up. That'd be intense.
Oh, that might be better.
Yeah. Why aren't they doing that?
I mean, you just put protection on your body and then woo, off you go.
That'd be dangerous. So the Lincoln Memorial, that will have to go. He's sitting down, isn't he?
He's sat down. I mean, they could just kind of like chisel away the chair bit.
What? So it just looks like he's hovering a bit.
He's just like he's just squatting.
Is that thing you like have to do in like karate lessons where they make you lean up against the wall and like test your leg strength?
Yeah, exactly.
So he's just doing that.
He's just doing that now. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I think they just had to take the whole thing down.
Maybe make him standing instead. Yeah.
I tried to think of more monuments and landmarks of chairs. Couldn't.
Well, like Mount Rushmore, they didn't even get to the neck, really.
Yeah. Maybe they were halfway down. They were like, but what if people get rid of chairs?
Exactly.
We'll probably have to stop this.
They were quick thinking.
Yeah, they were thinking ahead. Too far ahead, some would say.
Ahead. Is that the joke you were making?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, well.
Because it's not very funny.
Right. Toilets. It's a toilet seat. It's kind of a chair.
Wow.
We're sitting on a toilet, thus it could kind of be a seat.
Yeah, because otherwise, if we allowed toilets, everyone would just be like, "Oh, you're not allowed to sit down at work. Don't worry, I'll just get a toilet.
Just get a toilet in. Yeah, round a dining table. It's just six toilets.
Yeah. Oh, that's a point. Meals. Sitting down for meals.
Sitting down for a meal, no longer. No longer.
But the toilet thing is an issue.
I mean, have you ever been camping and you've had to like just squat over
a
log?
lot of the places when I was travelling, it's just whole squat over it. It's, we just go back to that, wouldn't we, really?
Pretty much, yeah.
But yes, eating as well. Having to always stand. Would you lie down and eat, or would you stand up and eat?
I think lying down and eating's a bit
messy.
Yeah. I mean, I could probably do it on your back a little bit.
Imagine like restaurants now, without seats.
Wow.
Just everyone just sort of standing up, having a meal of 12, all right, mate.
Standing in the corner.
Standing in the corner with their
it feels
plates.
really, really kind of wild and
It does.
animalistic, and just a bunch of people grazing in a big empty room.
You'd think they'd just sit on the floor, but you can't. So you like sort of perch, just sort of squat.
Just
There's a load of people just squatting in the corner, eating their spaghetti bolognese.
That's what this restaurant sells. Yeah.
Yeah. So restaurants don't be. Can you imagine the most classy restaurant you can think of, but then take out all the chairs, everyone has to stand up.
Yeah.
Takes the class away quite a bit, or everyone just squatting.
They'd still have tables though, right? Like you'd still be able to put things down on your table.
The tables would have to be a lot shorter, I reckon, or taller.
Or taller because you're now stood up.
So either really high tables or really low tables. So obviously, of course, there'd have to be some kind of investment into the alternative for wheelchairs. Obviously, they can't help but have to sit down, but obviously there's still a lot that is a chair just as much as anything else. And so I was thinking you'd probably end up going for some kind of support system where you can stand up, some kind of a mechanical or robotic support system to make you stand up.
I'm thinking Transformer kind of robot style.
You basically end up with like Mech-suits.
Droid.
That
human.
sounds cool, right?
That sounds amazing.
But then, obviously there'll be a lot of investment into that. So Mech-suits become kind of cheap. And I don't think disabled people are going to want to be the only people who want mech suits. There's
I-
loads of people rocking around in mech suits.
I want one.
I want one. So then everyone starts wearing mech suits. And that sounds cool, doesn't it?
So a world without chairs equals
A world where everyone's in mech suits, right? Big leap, I know. But I don't think it's as cool as it originally sounds.
Right.
You know the film Wall-E?
Yes.
Right? You know where they all end up having to sit down?
Yeah.
Or they all use those floating cart
Oh,
things and get
I
around.
see.
And everyone gets really fat because
Yeah.
they don't walk around anywhere. Ironically, despite that all being about chairs, I think that's where we end up. Because everyone starts using these mech suits, so no one's walking around anymore, and everyone gets really fat, and then we're just a lot of fat people in a lot of fat mech suits.
man. Wait, who would have known removing chairs from the world would cause such chaos?
Makes us all fat, ironically.
We,
At first, you
earlier,
think it makes it
we were
really
saying thin,
healthy.
so we start getting really healthy, and just when we're all in like
Everyone's
tip-top
like,
condition,
I invented mech suits, mate. We're all good. And then we're like, oh, that sounds great. Rocking around in them for a couple of 100 years, and then suddenly we're all fat.
bam,
Fat robots.
We got no butts. We're all fat.
But at least we're wearing mech suits, so it's all cool.
At least the horses aren't falling over anymore.
Oh, yeah, apparently.
Well, there we go. I think that'll do us for today. Hope you enjoyed listening.
Yep, let us know your thoughts on a world without chairs. Are there any extra weird side effects you can think of that we haven't mentioned? If you're listening on YouTube, you can let us know down in the comments.
But if you're listening at any of the popular podcast places, then you can tweet us at krisandjack. That's Kris with a K.
Yep, but thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.